All right, so this is going to be a look at the Ravens' fifth possession, which was really their only sustained touchdown drive of the game last week against the Bengals. I do have my chart that I'm looking at off another screen. It's a long drive that culminates in a touchdown run by Freeman from inside the 5. This first play is going to be what looks like an RPO concept where they're putting this linebacker in a lot of conflict. Brown is going in motion and running out to the flats, and then Bateman is running this angled hook. Simultaneous, once the ball is snapped, you have the running back crossing Lamar's face. So what they're doing is they're really giving this linebacker a lot that he could do. He could, run with Brown depending on the coverage. He could step this way, which he does when the back crosses Lamar's face. And they're vacating that space that would normally be covered by him in the Bengals, quarters-ish or soft cover 2 type coverage that they played a lot of on Sunday. So you'll see this linebacker step with the back, and then we hit Bateman, out in between the top of the 30 and the hash. It's a nice play. It's a nice concept. Something that we could go to more often, if you ask me, um, to kind of supplement the run game. So as the mesh happens, this is the linebacker I had talked about earlier. He has stepped, with the back because he's got to honor that. It could be a give, and he's got a gap to cover if 55 has this gap. And Lamar looks to the corner to the boundary, who's off screen for us, because he's got Brown over here. That corner, came up some. He's off screen, like I said, and then he's going to hit Bateman, somewhere around in this area, which is off screen for us right now. Nice play. Lamar does those really well. Under center, it's going to be a play action that actually looks pretty smooth from Lamar's steps and footwork. And Williams is going to go out into the flats. Brown is going to run a deep out. The ball's overthrown. And a lot of people have mentioned, and I agree with them, that we should be looking to hit our backs quicker out of the backfield. I believe that Williams is open against this, again, this soft zone coverage that the Bengals played. If we get the ball out to him now, this is a corner getting off with a vertical stem by Brown. This is a safety. There are other safeties down here playing curl flat. And so, you could call this cover 3, whatever you want to call it. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Point being, these linebackers were getting off, in coverage most of the game. And our backs, we could get the ball to him now, and he could turn and run upfield. Of course, it's easy for me to second guess that. I thought from the end zone angle, you'll see, I thought Lamar looked pretty good under center here in terms of his footwork and in terms of, his technique, the play fake, setting, looking, trying to figure out where to throw the ball. There's only one receiver on this side of the field here, and it's Brown. So he knows where he's going. He's just trying to figure out where to throw the ball, and it's high. All right, I believe this is a scramble, and there's no one open, and I think Lamar gets 3 yards. People were talking about Lamar holding on to the football too long. Do we have a guy that we could throw the ball to here? Yeah, and it looks like Lamar is looking here. But there generally were not guys. I mean, he's not open right now. He pushed him and the linebacker collision, so he becomes open. There's just not much there. There were a lot of times where our receivers were not open. So to sit there, now, if we're reading this side of the field, guys, we can't instantly know that we've got a deep comeback open over here. The progression, generally will start, right to left, to give him the most options as the play goes on. So, there's really not much to read here. This is, I think, just designed to go right here. He ends up getting 3 yards. Bengals' pursuit was pretty good. Pretty fast defense, if you ask me, and well coached. He got pressure again from the left side. This guy, chewed through Villanueva a lot. Just talk about some O-line stuff real quick. We're going to get a nice little move by him. This is his patented move to make contact with you and then, swim off of you or rip off of you. So 3rd and 7 and a nice run by Lamar to pick up the first down on a scramble out of empty. And again, who's open? Like, they've clogged things up in here. Are we going to maybe have something develop here? If this route is breaking here and pulling this defender, then maybe, yeah, maybe we've got something that we can throw in this area. And I don't know. I paused it intentionally. Yeah, we've got that late to Andrews. But the pocket's collapsing on him by the time Andrews is coming open. The ends are collapsing this pocket as usual. And we scramble and get a nice gain. It's the one where he reached out and got the first down. So it looks like the route that comes open late is Andrews, with Ricard sitting and pulling this linebacker up to check up. So yeah, I mean, could we be throwing the ball there? Yeah, I guess we could. Kind of typical though that it's Andrews. It's like he's the guy that he would always either be targeted or open. So 1st and 10. This should be Brown up the right hash. I think we hit this route against the Lions. Like a deep curl. And Andrews running the out. So many times we're using Brown and Andrews together to get them open or get someone else open. Nice job throwing the ball on the move by Lamar. Let me get the end zone angle. Little play action fake between him and Bell. Doesn't really hold this guy. This guy sees it pretty quick and gets back in his pass drop. Pretty nice throw and catch between him and Marquise Brown. This should be a 6-man pressure. So I believe they're going to bring these guys off the edge. And I think we're trying to throw something sidearm out here to Brown. And it's complete, for a short gain. We're going to have to do more of that, if you ask me, against these blitzes, because we're going to continue to see these blitzes. Particularly once we've started moving the ball. I feel like I've noticed that once we've started moving the ball a little bit, that's when teams come to these blitzes. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's what I think I've seen. So I'm sure the Ravens coaches have looked at that. And they're playing this sticks coverage that they played a lot. So when I say sticks, there's the yard to make. I'm trying to draw a straight line. And all 4 of the DBs in coverage are at the sticks. They're at the yard to gain. And they feel like, as a defense, they feel like, if we do this, that they can have 2 guys break on that. And they feel like, if we do this, then they can have 2 guys break on that. Now, yes, it's man to man, but you're not going to be able to get off, something like this. You know what I mean? Or something like this. You're not going to be able to get that off unless it's designed, unless you just snap the ball, catch it, and throw it there and take your chance. So I hope that makes sense, or at least I hope I'm explaining it well. When they're bringing 6, we can't get off a double move, and we're having trouble protecting. I feel like that we should have checks here where, we're instead of running the play action fake, we've got a call here to have him help with the edge guys here, because we can't have free rushers just smacking Lamar in the face. That guy didn't really hit Lamar, but point being, we want him to be protected, I think. Same mesh with the running back. Now Freeman's in, and it's an outside run play. It's a give to Freeman. To me, it looks like there was a read here, and I think this safety comes up and gets involved, and this linebacker fills inside again. I think the Bengals defense is pretty fast, much more athletic than people thought. That's the DN that we were reading. So this looks like just counter read, or what people call bash, because this right tackle right here is pulling away. And this is the one in the first game Freeman ever played for us. We gave this to him, and he popped off the 33-yard gain. Freeman just didn't look as athletic. There wasn't as much space for him against the Bengals as there was in previous games, like against the Chargers. I don't know what happens with this block here, but these DNs were really good at stepping, getting their feet square, and their eyes looking right at the mesh, and then being able to play half-man technique. So half-man means when Freeman goes, I mean, he's gone. He can play it and help out. Now, Freeman would outrun him to the sideline, but there's force players out here. The force players off screen, then there's a linebacker, and then there's a strong safety. So it's 3-on-4. We're down a man with this guy being an inside-out runner. So that's what I mean by half man. If Lamar had kept it, then this guy who settled his feet here could then play the back half of this. And that's how I understand and describe the half man technique. Other people, with a higher level of experience might explain it in a different way. This is one of the best calls that we made all game. So typically with our option game, we're going to open and the back is going to go downhill, and this fullback, in this case Ricard, would, maybe he'd loop around to go block the linebacker if Lamar keeps it, or if it was option, the other way, Lamar would open here and the back would go to our right, and Ricard would move here to read this defender if we ran option to our right. Now this is not option to our right, this is option to our left. I call this load option. Some people have different, some people might call it lead option. Basically the fullback is going to lead out to the edge and try to block the guy who's trying to determine whether to go to the quarterback or the pitch man. So now he doesn't have to block him because Lamar cuts it up. This linebacker comes up the field and Ricard steps to him, doesn't block him. Lamar is going to follow him typically and then cuts it up, because he sees a seam there. It's a great play. I call it load option. Different people call it different names. I think Ben Powers or Bozeman did a nice job here. I think it's Powers. I think that we know as an O-line that they're going to slam the inside gap. So Villanueva takes somebody down, and I think Powers chips and then leads up. And he doesn't really touch anybody. He's just in the window. You see, there's Villanueva taking that guy down who had just stemmed inside. So we're talking about this defender here. Villanueva takes him down. Powers is chipping out to this Mike, which number 51. They kept switching 51 and 55 on different plays. I know 55 is pretty good in pass drops, but he had a couple of pretty good run reads too. Really nice play. One of the best calls that I thought they made all game. And they ran that later on in the game, and we auto pitched it to, I think, Bell or maybe Freeman, and we kind of pitched it maybe a little too early. This looks like a zone right call to me. I really like this call because a lot of times when we have the back on the same side as Ricard or Andrews, that's when we're running our counter read stuff, okay, where he's crossing the face of the quarterback and Lamar's either giving it to him or keeping it, off this edge, and we're pulling these two linemen. So I like that we're running this play, which is not the play I just drew up. I like that we're running it with the back crossing Lamar's face and then, trying to maybe hit this side A gap or this side B gap. When we've ran this in the past, Ricard has led to try to get out there, into that front side A or that front side B. And this is something we've done with Boyle too. So it'll be interesting to see once we get Boyle back, who they're running some of these concepts with. You see that Ricard did not lead how I just showed. He did not go lead. And that's part of the reason why this play gets blown up is that there's just too many unblocked guys at the point of attack with these two linebackers. Not saying that, the Ravens didn't block it right. Just saying it's a different run play. But I like that we're running design stuff, to the side opposite where the back lines up. That's not just, QB counter read or bash. The end zone angle, you see we got a guy in the B gap. We got a 3 technique. So I'm not, I'm going to pause it here. I don't know how we're blocking this. We could reach with the nose. We could down block with the tackle on that 3 technique and then cross block this like in the wing T and have the guard pull and loop out there to the end. But you see that unless we bring Ricard to the situation, we can't block these two. We can't block those two. And that's part of the reason why we're doing this read stuff, because we don't have to block them, right? We just let them run themselves out of the play. Looks like we didn't do what I drew up. We didn't cross block at all, which doesn't surprise me. We just zoned it, which is what I put on my call sheet anyway. Or on my chart, I wrote zone right. I'm a big fan of this play, that we run with Ricard on the same side of the back where Ricard loops around. We did that to Tennessee last year, and J.K. Dobbins scored a touchdown on it down inside the 5. I think that was on I think that was a third down play. I could be wrong. So then here we are. This is Freeman's touchdown run. We're in our heavy, jumbo set. I think this is Cologne 63 right here, and this is Tomlinson 85, and then obviously Andrews and Ricard. So we're in a heavy set, and we just go right at them. Nice play. We pull a guard, and then Andrews follows Ricard. Nice seam there. This is our best drive of the game in terms of, a sustained drive. We were not able to do this a ton. I think the RPO provides some, I don't want to say answers, but it provides some options for us against their defense. So I think that should be a starting point when we're looking at attacking them the next time, because I think it's pretty obvious these guys were getting off so much to try to take away the big play. And someone, I forget who it was, maybe it was Dre, I'm not sure, in one of the comments said it looked like they were giving Lamar the run. Conceptually, they very well may have been. Basically saying, if you do run with Lamar 12, 14 times, we're going to hit him. And I'm not saying that they were thinking about injuring him, but just the cumulative effect of doing that. So to me, if we want to avoid just running the option, which we could run, I think we could get in the pistol and run the option at this team. I do. If we want to avoid that, which it seems like our coaching staff does, I kind of feel like the RPO stuff is the way to go. And I do think Lamar is reading this guy multiple times when we run these concepts. Is he reading them on this play? I'm not sure. It certainly looks like the O-line is blocking a run play there to me. So let me know what you think of the video, what you think of my contention that, RPO stuff and throw into the back out of the backfield. So whether it's play action or whatever. And when I say throw into the back, I don't mean a check down. I mean throwing to him in rhythm. So this is the last play I'm going to talk about. I feel like this ball should be thrown when Williams is somewhere around, before he gets to the numbers, is what I've always heard people say, in terms of when to throw the ball to the back in rhythm. So I feel like it's got to be thrown, like we got to be starting to pull the pin on the grenade now to get that out to him, because look at all the space that's there between him and the linebacker. And I just feel like this is easy yards. I feel like this is an easy, let's call it at minimum, 6 to 8 to 9 yard gain. Now, of course, there's defenders that are going to, pursue. So we're not going to pop it. The point is, we can't punish them. If we can't punish them over the top, which we tried to a couple of times and we hit one and we missed a couple other ones, then let's just punish them with a bunch of 6 to 8 yard gains to our running backs, where Lamar is not taking punishment and we're getting the ball out and keeping their pass rush from getting to our best player. Well, let me know what you guys think of some of my suggestions there and this video breakdown. I know it's a little different using the telestrator, so if people don't prefer that, please let me know. I'd appreciate any feedback in the comments section.